Hello everyone once again. This is Rob and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review. This time we're going to be talking about the new Joe Bonamassa album, Breakthrough. Before I get to that though, a reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day every day for my independence and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever, in addition to being unable to use any other type of scooter or power chair, or even a standard wheelchair for that matter, as I only have limited dexterity in one hand. In addition to that, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair to rely on at the current time. So if my scooter should malfunction as it did a few months ago, I will yet again be a fish out of the water, a scenario I want to avoid at all costs. With that stated, below the title of this video in the description below, as well as in a separate section below the information pertaining to the album I'm going to be reviewing, you can find a spot fund link. It's a fundraiser. It's easy to contribute. It takes a few seconds, and the end all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Even $5 or $10 can make all the difference in the world, and you can even contribute anonymously. The purpose of the fundraiser is to both assist me with the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter, as well as to help me save for the purchase of a new scooter. I arrived at these conclusions following the malfunction as alluded to a moment ago, whereby my battery charging mechanism on my scooter had failed entirely, and for roughly 2 weeks I needed to rely on family and friends to push me around my own home, which severely limited my independence. However, it was that long overdue wake up call that I needed a backup plan, and that backup plan is to have a brand new scooter to use moment to moment, day to day, every day, and my existing scooter completely refurbished, waiting in the wings to be used at moment's notice if necessary, when necessary. So please do what you can. I would greatly appreciate it. I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. And if you're not subscribed to Media Awareness, my channel, please consider subscribing and becoming part of the Media Awareness family. I'd love to have you. Also, if you do subscribe, be sure to click the bell icon. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, much like this one. So today we're talking about Joe Bonamassa's newest album. This was released back in late July, um, and this is Breakthrough. And um, this album is really, really a solid album. Let me start out by saying that. I'm going to go through the packaging on this and the track listing, and I'll also list the tracks once I'm actually done going through them on the screen so you can see them more. And I can also go into a lot more detail following going through the tracks and give you my thoughts on the overall sound of the album as far as the mix goes and everything else I typically do with my album reviews. If you are familiar, if you're not familiar, well, you're about to become familiar. So I hope that you sit back and enjoy. For those of you unaware, Joe Bonamassa is a guitar virtuoso, quite possibly the uh, best um, blues guitarist, at least in my opinion, of our modern day. However, I make that statement with conviction, as I had the ability to see Joe live on three separate occasions. Three? Yeah, three. And all three times he was absolutely mind blowing. And I saw him at the FM Kirby Center in downtown Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And Joe is no stranger to the Wilkes-Barre area. He's been playing here in my area for years. However, I wasn't aware of his music until roughly 2012 or so. 2012, 2013. I forget exactly when, but it was right around that time frame of 2012 and 2013 when I came across a video on my feed from the Tour de Force um, uh, collection of albums that Joe had released, and their live albums recorded in the UK specifically, and they're recorded at separate venues ranging in size from a club to the Royal Albert Hall. And they basically cover his career up to that point in terms of the various set lists, as each CD had its own set list and each concert. Um, and I'd contacted Joe, um, not expecting to hear anything, but to my surprise, I did, and I was made aware of his vast catalog of music, and I really became a fan completely and totally. Um, and whereas some of the albums stood out, in my opinion, as being stronger than others, uh, my three favorite Joe Bonamassa albums would have to be uh, Driving Toward the Daylight, Dust Bowl, and potentially Breakthrough. Um, and these are albums that really are solid from beginning to end. Before I go any further, I want to go through the packaging on this for all of you, let you know what you're getting. This is your standard digipack format, and what I mean by that, you'll see in a second. It's not a plastic case, it's a cardboard case with a plastic piece sort of glued inside to hold the disc itself in place. This is the cover. This is the back of the album with the track listing and assorted other credits. And here is the inside of the case itself, the sleeve, I should say, with the more credits on the inside. On the one side, track listing, and on the other side, you have the disc held in by plastic teeth inside the plastic um, uh, insert that holds it in. Now, I will say if the teeth break, uh, the disc will become dislodged, and you then have to be a lot more careful with the case itself. And also, the plastic that is holding the disc in um, can separate from the actual spine, the cardboard spine itself over time. So you want to really take good care of these digipack sets when you can, and uh, back up the album when you get it. And I have all my music on the computer. Once I transfer it from disc, that's where it goes, and the actual disc itself goes on a shelf in the corresponding section of music that it belongs in. So now I'm going to go through the track listing for the album Breakthrough, and I'm going to give you my thoughts sort of briefly. I have some notes here along the side as well for me to relate to you guys. So track one is Breakthrough, which was a single also. Um, I did a reaction video to that song, which you can find on my channel. Feel free to look that up and you can get my thoughts on the track itself. But it is like the perfect opening track for this album. Kicks it off with a bang, and the album just flows from there effortlessly. Track two, Trigger Finger, another real powerful track. Also a single as well that I covered as a reaction as well. Um, then we have track three, and that is I'll Take the Blame. Track four, Drive By the Exit Sign. Sorry about that. Um, and that was a single as well. I did do a reaction to that. It's not one of my favorite songs on the album, but it's not a bad song either. It just didn't really resonate with me personally, and I don't drive, so that could be one. Aside from my scooter, um, which is partially in frame, um, but uh, I don't know. It just didn't. That song really didn't hit me, but like I said, it doesn't detract from the overall listening experience from me either in terms of the album itself. Track five is Broken Record, and this is one of the best songs on the album. It is your real powerful, slow blues track um, with amazing guitar work, amazing vocals from Joe, and some really intense lyrics that are really quite heartfelt, if you ask me. Track six is Shake This Ground, and this has sort of a folk rock style to it, at least in my opinion. But it still has that power and intensity that we all know and love from Joe Bonamassa himself. Track seven is Walking With Me, which was a Still Walking With Me. I'm sorry. Still Walking With Me. It was another single off the album. I did do a reaction to this as well, and it is another really good solid track as well. Track 8 is Life After Dark, and this is potentially one of my favorite songs on the album as well. Um, it really has a unique groove and a really sort of powerful intensity about it that I really like a lot. It resonates with me on so many levels. Lyrically, it really is something I can identify with, and it really has a lot going for it. Track 9 is You Don't Own Me, and this is a good song. Um, it's really a song that you're getting toward the end of the album. It's uh, upbeat sort of track, and it really sort of maintains that really fast-paced nature while still maintaining that blues feel to it. And then, of course, track 10 is Pains on Me. And um, I like this song a lot. It's a good closing track for the album. And you get 10 tracks on this album. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's how albums used to be, in my opinion. And I really, really appreciate that, uh, endeavor to sort of keep these albums digestible and not too much to handle in terms of the listening experience at one sitting. Noticeably absent from the album Breakthrough is the collaboration that Joe did with Sammy Hagar, Fortune Teller Blues. Now, I did a reaction to this video, and I was hoping that the song would be included on this album. It's not, and I cannot find it to download for the life of me. If anyone knows how I can get my hands on that track, please leave it in the comment section below, or you're welcome to email me. My email is in the description below, as is my Facebook information. So feel free to contact me. That way I can get my hands on that track and have that to complete this collection. Because I really feel like that would have been a good closing track for Breakthrough. Um, the album, though, is solid, and that's why I sort of rushed through the track listing. There is a really cohesive nature to this album, and the songs really, really complement each other quite well in terms of the track listing and the order of the tracks and the composition. Joe did a phenomenal job lyrically on this. Musically, it is solid. Um, Everyone is in pocket. And what I like about this album as well is we do have backup singers, but they are not too much in the front, if that makes sense. Sometimes you'll hear albums, and this has happened with past releases from Joe Bonamassa, where the backup singers are a bit too prominent in the mix, in my opinion. And in this case, on Breakthrough, they are in the background. And they complement the songs as opposed to taking them over entirely. There's also more of a focus on this album on standard blues, um, guitar, bass, drums, piano, keyboards, um, but not a lot of horns either. Um, and that's something that was beginning to be a little bit uh, overwhelming in some of Joe's past releases uh, leading up to Breakthrough, were the abundance of the horn section, and it sort of took away from the feel of a lot of the songs, in my opinion. In a lot of cases, it enhanced them, but I think they were overused. On this album, there is a noticeable balance of the instrumentation, and it's appreciated. It really is. The mix on this album is sublime. Everything sounds crisp. The drums sound great. Uh, and the rhythm section as a whole is mixed really well on this album. Another thing I want to point out is that Joe's vocals on this album are stronger than ever. Joe has a really noticeable and unique vocal style, and it has evolved over time. He used to sing quite differently in his earlier days, and all you have to do is go back to his mid catalog to sort of check that style out. Um, and it's not bad. It's just different. It was a little more raspy, and he was singing more with his throat and his vocal cords as opposed to his chest and bringing up the tones and power from the chest up. It was more of a throat singing. Um, and although it was really good, this on the past several albums and this album, he is really pushing that chest voice, and it is coming across amazing. He sounds better than ever. Because of that, the lyrics really, really are more pronounced. They're um, more impactful to the listener, in my opinion at least. And this is an album that is solid from beginning to end. It is solid. Like I said, I do have my sort of weak points, um, but they are far and few between, as you heard. Um, and this is one of my favorite Joe Bonamassa albums. It's hard to rank them at this point. He's had so many studio albums, and they've all been really great in their own way. But they've gotten better over time, at least in my opinion. And this is the creme de la creme of Joe Bonamassa Breakthrough. And this is an album that if you can add this to your collection in your choice of formats, I highly recommend doing so. Um, and once again, if you can check out the Fortune Teller Blues track if you're not familiar with it, I recommend it. You can find it on Spotify, you can find it on YouTube, and it's a great song, and it's something I want to have in my collection. So, like I said, if anyone knows how I can get that song, please let me know in the comment section, or via email, or via Facebook. I would greatly appreciate that. Um, but yeah, uh, this album is one of the best albums I've heard this year so far, and it is one of Joe Bonamassa's finest shining moments. So there you have it, the album review for the newest Joe Bonamassa studio album, 2025's Breakthrough. This is the CD. It is available on vinyl as well. And just to correct an error that is apparent on Amazon, um, the track listing on Amazon has track 6 labeled as side B on the CD listing. And although side B is a great name for a song, um, it's not accurate. And there are 11 tracks listed on Amazon. There are only 10 tracks on this album, and side B does not exist as a track on this album. Just to let you all know. So the album contains 10 tracks. I went over 10 tracks, and if Fortune Teller Blues was on this, it would make 11, but Joe stopped at 10. He didn't crank it up to 11. That's only for Spinal Tap, so hopefully someone got that reference. With all of that stated, though, I hope you enjoyed this album review, and I hope that you will check out the new Joe Bonamassa album. Like I said, one of the finest blues guitarists, my favorite blues guitarist, and in my opinion, the best blues guitarist around right now in our modern era. Really, really pushing boundaries in stylistic ability and vocally, lyrically, he's got it all. Joe Bonamassa, Breakthrough. Pick it up. Enjoy. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.